hello from beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, and good evening to you all, and good morning to the folks that are over this side. And welcome. Thank you so much for inviting me to this Geoawesomeness event. And I do a lot of work with gray matter, and they have nothing but great things to say about Geoawesomeness. So please remember me as a contact for Microsoft Maps, and I guess I'll dive right in. Again, please put any questions you have in the chat, and there will be a Q&A session at the end of my talk. I have a really sort of packed agenda, but it's something that we can get through pretty quickly, and I hope to basically get you kind of started at looking at what Microsoft has to offer for maps, and specifically Azure Maps. My name is Justine Coates. As I mentioned, I am a senior program manager for the Microsoft Maps and Geospatial team, and I am actually located in the Azure Maps product team. I do also host our developer support team, and I am a technical evangelist, so I'm here for any kind of engagement that you might need. And if I don't know an answer, I probably know somebody who does. So please consider me a resource for you to reach out to anytime. The first question is, what does Microsoft Maps actually mean anyway? And it's because we've had maps all the way back to the days of Encarta. Now that was what, 93 or so. So we've been moving to meet the mapping requirements of our customers and changing our platforms to grow with the needs of the industry. And what we're seeing today is that what really matters about even your cell phone, or even when you're sitting at your computer and doing a Bing search, you want to know where things are close to you. The location of things really does matter. We see that maps are more than just the paper map that you used to think of as a map in the past. It's very much an understanding of how your organization may need to take location into account for any of their technical and decision-making processes. And I love statistics. This one says 80% of all data contains a location component, and I don't dispute that, but I wonder why it's not 79 or 83. But anyway, the point being is that maps are a big part of what's driving what is working for us today. So when we talk about the location of things, we really talk about the idea of, in Azure IoT, we have the concept of the things side, which are the devices and the sensors, and it's really important to know where they are. And then you generate insights based on the data that they are collecting, and you make decisions based on that data. I mean, that's the typical flow, right? So we are looking at industries along these verticals, like mobility and logistics, the Internet of Things, obviously, cloud and mobile solutions on the edge. So that is actually setting up your devices and sensors. And then near and dear to us as the Maps team is spatial analytics and AI. I did post something in the chat about our Open Maps team. That's the teams that's actually doing the building footprint generation and trying to map parts of the world that are not as well served. So recently we published on Open Maps the footprints for Tanzania and Uganda. So very, very interesting stuff going on. Now, when you look at what you're going to do with location intelligence, where you're going to see it, I have these nice little screenshots, these colorful things that sort of show you the concept that for mobility, you're gonna wanna know where things are for where they need to be, things like delivery, routing, planning, management dashboards, that sort of thing. But when you're looking at asset managed holistically, you want to know what sort of state is that asset in, where is it located, and is it in good shape? Does it need service? This sort of thing. Uh, Cloud, mobile, and edge, obviously very standard in the industry for maps. And then again, just talking about spatial analytics, the little shots I have here are for like earthquakes and such for tracking later on and visualization. Now we get to the heart of the matter, our latest product offering, Azure Maps. Azure Maps literally has maps. I know, right? We have the basic functionality that you would consider for all geospatial needs. We are a full service geospatial API, and we want to grow this platform so that it meets even more needs. But we had to get the table stakes covered first. So yes, we have maps and we have some great features here. I'm not going to dig into them today because this is really sort of more of an introduction, but I also wanted you to know that when we look at it, we think of what are the services that you need for a REST API that is fast, time boxed, and runs natively in the location where your data is stored. So a big part of the reason why Azure Maps exists is to serve those Azure IoT scenarios where your data is actually in the same place where you need the work done on it. The other thing that's a really big thing for the Maps team right now is to make sure that we have a lot of open source and that it's really easy for you to blend into your product. I love the open source web SDK module. You can go online, you can go straight to that website and you can click right into that sample. They'll run for you right in the browser. So you can see immediately how they work, and the source code is in GitHub. So you can grab that anytime that you're ready to start playing with it. So when we look at all the things that are required of a geospatial API for the enterprise, these are the sort of things that jump out at us. But I wanted to actually focus a little bit on our bottom row here because these are our latest additions. So we've added an elevation service. We've got weather data services powered by AccuWeather, our partnership. We really understand the power of the dashboard, so we're working with the Power BI team to bring even more capability into the Azure Maps and Power BI. And we have government cloud support. So Microsoft does offer government cloud, so the mapping service in government cloud is Azure Maps. And recently we also launched at Microsoft Build Azure Maps Creator that allows you to build custom floor plans and custom campus maps for your particular use. And just to give you one last push here, we recently launched our general availability for our Elevation API. So if you have any sort of interesting scenarios that you would like to deal with the height of things, the height and location of things, this is available for you anytime. Now, connecting the dots. We're in this talk today because we're going to talk about smart cities and devices. So some applications of Azure Maps in smart cities are these sort of things we're talking about: dashboards, understand geofencing and where things are, putting alerts when things are where they're not supposed to be, accessing real-time and historical data flows so that you can make decisions about where things will be or where things should be, routing optimizations for when you have either police, fire, emergencies, or any of those other, sorry, I've got to pop up. basically to create that any kind of location, fill any kind of location need you have for your connected environment scenario. We also, in the same vein, look at Azure Maps as an IoT and building management. When you get deep in, we see a lot of applications for understanding how, like this photo shows, understanding how not just the environment is in the building, but the environment of the devices that are in that building and their status. So with that in mind, I'd like to highlight Azure Maps Creator. It was produced for literally understanding indoor environments and doing indoor mapping. It takes a direct AutoCAD process file and applies it to our render service and lights up into our SDK to allow you to make great experiences for your indoor maps. And it integrates with Azure Digital Twins. So these are some examples of our of the smart buildings experiences that we have as samples today. These are Microsoft buildings, and the concept of meeting rooms and how comfortable you are and these sort of things are all lit up. We actually have an app called Comfy that you can use when you're sitting in your office to tell how comfy or uncomfy you are, and it will give that data back into the tracking system for the entire campus. Now, we offer a lot of samples, and so one of the things that I wanted to bring up here is that you've probably been in other talks where they've had some pretty deeply detailed architecture diagrams. This one is very simple, and we offer a very common and easy to understand real-time tracking architecture in Azure. And we, as you can see, we've kind of got us at the center at the top as the location intelligence solution, but we really, the real power is that we blend in well and we work with others and we help light up these scenarios. So last but not least, we do offer at this link a no-code solution for real-time tracking in Azure IoT Central. And I'm happy to point to Miriam's blog on it. And very happy to speak to you guys today. Lastly, I'd like you to think about how we connect the dots for these kind of solutions. We have these sort of 6 videos that you can watch about connected office, connected factory, connected buildings in general, connected car, which is you know, sort of where I kind of come from, connected grid, and connected agriculture. So these are real live things that we're looking into today with at Microsoft with our partners. So last but not least, here's my Q&A slide. Please feel free to reach out to our friends at Gray Matter, so Mapping at Gray Matter, and ask them all about Azure Maps and Microsoft Mapping. My helpful links are here, and I'm happy to take any questions.